When I was cutting out these charcuterie board handles, two of these boards split. There must have been a lot of tension in that wood because they just popped. I added some glue in the crack, I squeezed it back together with a clamp, and now I'm adding some bow tie inlays to help prevent this crack from staying open or splitting even further. I like to use a template for this. A lot of guys like to mark it with a knife and cut it out with a router without using a template. I find this is kind of a fail safe for me. I don't have to worry about, going outside my markings and making a big mess of this. So there's a bushing that actually sits on the bottom of my router that I use to cut out the groove. And then when I go, see, there's the bushing there. Then when I go to cut out my bow tie, I remove the bushing, because if I don't, then my bow tie is going to be way too small. In this case, I forgot to remove it, so I started in and quickly realized that it had to come out. So here you see me pop that off, and now that little shoulder there is what is going to ride along the template, and it's going to cut out the perfect size bow tie to fit in the cavity that I just made. At this point, I have to lower the router very slowly because you can see that piece of brass there is going to come down and hit my template. Then jar the router over slightly, and then I can start making my cut. The reason I have to go very slow is because if the bit hits the template, it's going to ruin the template instantly. Also, if my bit is too far over and that shoulder doesn't come down on the template, then I'm going to have a mark in my bow tie. That's not going to look good either. And we always want things to look good. So now that we have that done, I can go over to the bandsaw and trim off the width of the bow ties. In this case, I went a little thicker, but it's better to be too thick than too thin. So I can just take that to my drum sander next, and I can thin out that piece to where you can see the outline of the bow ties. And then I can just pop them out, kind of like one of those puzzles when you were a kid and you had the pieces that you had to pop out, or maybe it was one of those airplanes. I can't remember exactly. You remember those little airplanes? They were foam, but you had to press out the pieces to then do the build. See, like what I'm doing here. It's kind of like that. Now, when you do the router with the template to do your entire cutout for your bow tie, it's going to leave you with rounded corners. You have two options here. You can either do what I'm doing to square off those corners, or you can head over to your belt sander and just round off your corners on your bow tie a little bit, and they'll fit in there nice and snug. Personally, I've done both. I like the look of the square corners a little bit better, so I'm just taking a little bit of time to square the corners, and then I'll put my bow ties in. For glue, it is nothing but the best. Titebond 3 every time. It's all I've ever used. So honestly, I can't even compare it. I guess you could call me kind of biased about it, but I've used this glue so much and I have never, ever, ever, ever had a problem with Titebond 3. So it's just something that I will continue to use on everything. And it's waterproof, so you can use it indoor, outdoors, cutting boards, whatever you want. Now, let me know if you caught what I did wrong pounding in that first bow tie. I did the same thing with the second bow tie and started on the third one before I was like, hey, I kind of got lucky with those two. Now it's time to do it the right way. And grab a block of wood, dummy. Grab a block of wood, because those bow ties can split and then you got to start over. It was right about here where I was thinking about the block of wood. Well, I've already gotten away with it twice, and then I'm like, nah, I don't want to. I don't want to chance the third one. So I just got the block of wood, and it's the right way to do it. Look it, that's all you have to do, and you never have to worry about that bow tie splitting in half. After that's done, I can just take my Japanese flush cut saw and trim up the excess before hitting it with the sander. Now the one part that I skipped over in this video is routering the edges. So I'll go over all the sharp edges there around my handle with a 1/4-inch router bit. You can see here now it's all finished up and I have everything nicely sanded so I can get on to the finishing stage. For the finish, I am using the LED Smart Oil from Black Forest Wood Company. This is a UV curing oil, new technology, and I love it. It is a lot more durable than your conventional oils. A little expensive to get the light. The oil is more expensive, but you don't need a lot of product and it is so fast. So this is not sped up, real time, and that first coat is finished. I apply another coat, do this same thing, and it's done. I've got 2 coats of durable oil on it. And if you want to try this out, I've got a discount code for Black Forest Wood Company, and it's not just for the light. You can get a lot of stuff there and save yourself 10% with code DUST10 at checkout.